Welcome back to Movies TV Man. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Man, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the MUFC Daily. You know, I'm very, very perplexed. I mean, Sky pundits have always been shit. I mean, forget TalkSport, but Sky, one of the biggest broadcasters, really the founders of the Premier League, the people who made the Premier League such a glamorous, lucrative affair, have always had shit pundits. I mean, this is the company who had Andy Gray as their #1 commentator until he did things stupid and it was sexist about a fucking referee, allegedly, right? Although I enjoyed Andy Gray, he used to make me laugh, and he did used to make some good points. But when you see Graham Souness sitting there and saying that, you know, Ralf Rangnick's appointment as interim manager is a bad decision, and seeing these multiple amounts of these Sky pundits saying this, you know that good punditry is dead. Ralf Rangnick may have not have managed in the Premier League before. He hasn't managed big clubs. He hasn't won many trophies. That's not what he's about. He's not here, right? He's not here as a 20-year manager. He's here as a fixer, to fix the structure of Manchester United. It is his job to steady the ship as interim manager till the end of the season. Go upstairs as sporting director. Appoint a manager, the best manager he can appoint. One who, you know, works within his ethos. Of course, that's the idea of the sporting director and the director of football system. You're going to have Ralf Rangnick as sporting director at the end of the season, and then you'll have John Murtough as football director, and that's how it's going to work. And it will be organised, hopefully. Now, normally I'd say this isn't going to be organised because this is Manchester United, the Glazers, but because Ralph's there, he will organise it. He will make sure it works. He's built clubs from the bottom up. So we're not talking about Ralf Rangnick in a kind of, you know, management kind of 5-year plan kind of concept. It's about him building the club up, making what it was under Ferguson. No, better than under Ferguson. This is one of the best people in the game. You can't just look at this. And this is the problem, because they're so basic on Sky, they're looking at him as a manager. You know, why an interim manager? You know, it's all right when Chelsea get an interim manager. Everyone loves it, right? They bring in, you know, whoever they bring in. He does a great job. He wins something. And, you know, I mean, Chelsea still boot that interim manager out and get a permanent manager in, but it does the job. Look, people are obsessed with long-term today. This is long-term, but he's not a long-term manager. I mean, he may well want the job as manager, and he may want to run the club through the manager's hot seat. But he made his statement yesterday. Yes, by the way, and I'm sure you all know by now, Ralf Rangnick is now officially the interim manager of Manchester United to the end of the season. He has spoken, and he has said he will be going upstairs as a consultant to the club after his gig as interim manager is done. He's focusing on helping these very talented players in this very talented squad as individuals, but most importantly, as a team. That's exactly what he said. I'm surprised I remembered that, because I remember very little. If anyone who's been following me for a scant amount of time knows my memory's not very good. So that's what he's here for. He's not here to be a manager and to win the quadruple. It would be great if he could do that. He's more, as I say, he's a problem solver. He's a fixer. He's a builder of clubs. And I said this the other day. Manchester United have never, I mean, they have needed a fixer before, but they've never brought in a fixer before. I mean, you maybe could call Sir Alex Ferguson the ultimate fixer, but big clubs don't normally bring in fixers. People like Ralf normally come into smaller clubs and make things bigger. But he's now come to a big club, a huge club, an elite club that's down on its fucking knees. Now, it's not fighting relegation, it's not fighting bankruptcy, but it's down on its knees in terms of what it is. As the empire is dead, empires are destroyed from within. And predictably, as soon as Sir Alex left, slowly but surely, the emperor and the empire, boom. Now, a lot of people used to say, ironically on Sky Sports, they're pundits, it'd have to be a disastrous situation to mess up what Sir Alex Ferguson's built here. But the problem is, without the man, the myth goes as well. Do you understand? The only reason Manchester United were a great club was because of the great success that Sir Alex brought to the club. The reason Martin Edwards and David Gill were able to make financial astute decisions and make plenty of money, they were making that money off the back of Sir Alex's success. Without that success, I mean, they're still making money. Surprisingly, Edward would once famously saying you don't need to be successful to make money. And it's true as a business, but in the end, the generation, the cool kids, the teenagers ain't going to follow Manchester United anymore. I mean, one of the main reasons we've got a lot of younger fans is Paul Pogba. Well, he barely plays these days. I think he's injured at the moment. Will he sign his contract? What a ridiculous situation. But no one has re-signed for Manchester United at this point who has got contracts needing renewing because people weren't confident in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's the problem. I think players are willing to leave, including Bruno Fernandes, if Solskjaer wasn't vanquished from the club. Now, thankfully, we were fortunate enough, and this isn't going to go down well, but we were fortunate enough that Ole just couldn't handle working with elite players he brought in. Because it's a bit insane to bring in the best players in the world and not be able to handle that situation. He brought in too many good players for too many positions. He got himself in trouble because elite players want to play every week. And that's the problem. So Ralf hasn't come in to be this manager who's just... Basically, the last thing we need is a manager to come in quickly, win loads of things. That's not what we need. The underbelly of Manchester United needs, I suppose, thawing out. It needs cleaning out. We need to rebuild the structure of Manchester United, and having Ralf as the sport director and having John Murtaugh as the football director is a very good idea. Them working together upstairs, and that's what's going to happen. And Ralf, who will be in on the decision, he will make the decision. So Ralf is the new emperor. Look, basically Ralf is the new emperor of Manchester United. Take it from me. This is what's happening. I don't know if we're going to get good results. I don't know if he can turn us around on the pitch very quickly. This may be a very unsuccessful season after we had such a great summer in the transfer market. Some sources are telling me that he will be given money to strengthen. Some sources are telling me that's not the case. There's too many sources in football, if you ask me. So I don't know who to believe, and that goes for Romano as well, who's been very inconsistent lately. So I don't know what's going to happen now. Also, there's another piece of inconsistency from the sources I'm speaking to. Some are telling me that Carrick and McKenna and the rest of the coaches are staying. Some are telling me that Ralf is going to assess them. Listen, he kind of needs them there. I think I mentioned this yesterday, because you need someone to show you around the school. When your first day at school, you need someone to show you around. So they'll probably keep all these coaches till the end of the season. He's just an interim right now. He hasn't got that big, that next move where he's running the entire football side of the club. But I think either Carrick, McKenna and all the other coaches will be given little jobs that are pointless, or they will be moved out of the club slowly and quietly. You probably won't even notice. You won't even care by the end of the season, because probably Ralf will turn us around. Everyone will be happy, and you'll hear a little tidbit on the news. Oh, Michael Carrick's left the club. He's gone to manage some little, South Pole club or North Pole club, Santa Claus United or something like that, right? You're not going to give a shit. I'm not going to give a shit, but they want it all to die down, because these are Manchester United great players, and they don't really want to disrespect them. Some of them weren't great Manchester United players. McKenna, I don't think he ever played for Manchester United, but they seem to want to be respectful of the people who work for them. That's something that comes to at my face with Manchester United, the respect they show people. Even the incompetent people, they don't just want to boot people out. And you could say that Manchester United are huge and should be ruthless, but also don't forget, they're a club owned by a family, and clearly, Joe Glazer or whoever was the father, I think he passed away now. He obviously taught them these things, so they're very respectful to the people. I think everyone who's ever worked for them has been moved out the club, not just Dolly, with great respect. And do you know what? As much as I wish they were more ruthless, I like that, because Manchester United was forged on these ideals. So the Glazers have made many mistakes, but they have injected money into the club. Now, I stand in solidarity with all my brothers and sisters, United Brother and Sisters, and however else you identify as, when we were all complaining about how they just let the stadium go downhill while Tottenham was being developed. Our club needs to be developed. We need a bigger capacity. It needs to be the best stadium it can be, and they were letting it go. And it's disgusting that we had to fight for that, that people had to demonstrate for that to happen. So they've needed a kick up the arse. But what I like about them is this, that they've had a kick up the arse and now they're changing. We're going to get a sporting director in Ralf after he finishes his interim manager gig, right? They're sorting out the stadium, right? They've listened. That's one good thing, right? They've listened. And not many owners listen to their fans. Not many people making movies these days listen to their consumer. So I really respect the fact that the Glazers have actually listened to us, the fans. This has been the MUFC Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more MUFC Daily. Until then, goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. Yes, because we've got a German manager now. Isn't that cool? Is Auf Wiedersehen goodbye or hello? I can never remember. See you again tomorrow.